Okay, so I put up a little thing on YouTube, little stat that I heard a reporter asking or mentioning Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
Did you know, Josh, that you were the first player since LeBron James to put up over 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in your international debut? Which was true
Wow.
until another Thunder player went out and did the same thing right after that when Shea did it. So now we have two players, and it happened within hours of each other. And by the time I put that up, I didn't realize
So Corey.
that Shea had also done the same thing. What do you have to say about that, Dave? Like two players putting up historic performances on the same team.
I mean, that's why we love Josh Giddey and Shea. I mean, like when it comes down to defending who we have on this team and defending whether or not we would trade Shea or Josh for a different player, it comes down to believing in who we have. And Shea and Josh are elite. Um, they're elite because of their individual talented gifts, but together they're more powerful. And I think that's the thing about it is that I was talking to Jared, and him and I were going back and forth about some stuff, and he said something like, you were right about Josh Giddey and Shea
What's up, Samuel?
together,
What's
and
up, Jared?
how they play together and they make themselves better to when they're playing out there. And I just love that, man. That's what team basketball is all about. But when you have
What's up,
two guys
Robert?
that complement each other's abilities, that's when you got something special. And Josh's ability to find the open person regardless, that doesn't take away from getting Shea the ball and shooting the ball at all. That's the thing about Josh. Josh can play his game and it doesn't affect Shea's game at all. In fact, it makes it Shea better at his game. And I love this concept of what's happening.
I love it too, man. You can never ask for more on one team. But when you do think about what it might look like in previous versions of the Thunder, it takes us right back to 2010 FIBA, Russ,
Oh yeah.
Harden, KD.
Oh
But
yeah.
now we have international flair instead of all of them on one team. And I feel like a connection to Robert out there in Australia. I
So
know
Blake.
so
So
many people
Blondie.
from around the world are joining us and they have connections to these players. And now we're having connections to their international teams because like let's face it, we're seriously cheering for Australia and Canada
I
at
know.
all costs in this tournament. And
I
we
know.
talk about it all the time, probably too much, but like we don't identify very much with that USA team. But these other teams that understand team basketball and they put others before each other. Like I'm not saying there aren't players in the team USA like Tyrese Halliburton. I really like some of the
Yeah.
guys on the team,
I
but
like
I also
Paulo.
look,
He looks good.
yeah, Paulo looks really good. But in the end, I really identify to what's going on with Team Australia and what's going on with Team Canada. These up and coming teams. Can't really say Australia is up and coming. They are, but they've been legit on the world stage for so
Sure.
long, whereas Canada is new to the world stage. But Australia is ready to take the next step. So there's so much going on, and we're all about that right now.
Yeah, it's a beautiful concept that Sam Presti's put together, and we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast about it's not no longer a USA game. Like basketball is no
Mwani,
longer a USA game, and this happened starting in the 90s where it became more of a
Blake,
global game, but now we're seeing it in such a way that the impact is truly spectacular. This team is full of guys that are going to play for the national team next year, the year after. I mean, it's truly spectacular if you look at how many guys we will see in our system play in the Olympics next year. And I'm blown away. I'm blown away by what's happening around the global game. And again, Australia is in my opinion the place I would be sending any potential NBA player. The NBL is legit, and it's teaching young men how to be men. Period. I mean, take out that young part and just make them men. And it's so hard when these guys are coming out at 17 and 18 years old, and they're trying to figure out life in general. And the NBL is an amazing place to help them focus on the game. So I love this, man. I love the action that we've been getting from Australia, and we've always gotten from Australia because of Josh Giddey and what he's doing.
and like Robert's saying, people our age in Australia are in love with the Thunder, what Josh Giddey's doing there.
Yeah.
But also like his kid's age. Like this is a cross generational, cross the globe, connection that's happening. The last I always love talking about the last Thunder version, but I lived in Puerto Rico when the Thunder were right toward the peak of their powers, right? And when I would see people in Puerto Rico wearing Thunder gear, it made me feel like really, really proud of Oklahoma, of just everything, right?
Mm,
Because you're like, I'm in this place where not everybody speaks English, but we all know Oklahoma City.
yeah,
And that's what
dude.
meant so much to me. And I feel it's deeper. It's deeper. When I saw that thing, Josh Kiddey's camp, and all these kids wearing his jersey, but right on the front it says Oklahoma. Like,
Yep. I
how
know,
much
dude.
does that mean to everybody? It means everything.
Dude, I wear Oklahoma City t-shirts all around all the time. I just do. And for the first time since I started wearing Oklahoma City Thunder t-shirts, in the last 2 weeks, I've been stopped by people. All right. So the first stop happened in North Carolina. I was at a grocery store in North Carolina. This guy's like, Oklahoma City Thunder. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And I was just like, fucking fan, like, but here's the thing is that like we sat there and he talked about the team and the young aspects. Like he's just, vibing about the team. And then I was here the other day, and a lady stopped me at the counter and was just like, "I love the Oklahoma City Thunder. Been a fan forever." You know, it's crazy, man. Like people are starting to feel it. Everybody knows that there's something different here. It has nothing to do with our podcast or anything else like that. It's about the fans in Oklahoma City Thunder that are honestly waking up right now and saying this team's special. This team was able to win how many games without Chet and with rookies as some of their best players? Like it's only going to get better. And I think that's what's so impressive is like it's everywhere you go, guys. Like the Oklahoma City Thunder, when they first started and they first became good, it started everything out. But now it's going to be capitalizing on that because everybody loves the underdog story. Everybody loves the underdog story. Look at Canada. I mean, they're like one of the favorite teams to watch right now. They're destroying everybody, and everybody's like, "Can Canada win the first time they've been at a tournament for freaking ever?" Maybe,
Maybe. There
maybe.
goes that man. SGA, dude, he's looking great, and I would love to see SGA continue his international ascension. I think one thing that I've noticed about him is he plays the level that he needs to. So we need to see him against other great teams. We need to see him against other great players.
Yeah.
I want that SGA Luca matchup.
Mm.
I want that SGA versus, well, I mean Canada versus Australia. These are the ones that like I'm dying for, man. So we saw, unfortunately, we saw Australia lose. I
Mm.
did not get to see the game. I've seen a few highlights, but nothing comprehensive like on the other ones. I
Yeah.
know you were up at 4:30, 3:30 my
Me,
time.
Jared, and George, man, we had a good night
That's
or
right.
good
What's up,
morning.
Chase? What's up, buddy? It was amazing. I got up, right? I was like 5:30. My God, the game's already over. Whatever. Like I pull out my phone and I noticed that there was still 3 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually turn the game on. I just jumped on to see what happened. Australia was down by one.
Yeah.
And then I apparently Germany hit 2 free throws. And Giddy tried to get a shot off. That shot was it wasn't blocked. So I'm assuming he was fouled because the ball didn't really get to the free throw line, a 3-point line. It was so, but what impressed me the most was Josh's determination to win the game all the way through the buzzer and begging the ref for the call.
Oh yeah.
And when you saw him like yamming on people,
yeah, dude,
dunking on people, you're like, this guy actually has more to go than what we've already seen. Like his upside is still bigger than we can imagine right now.
Absolutely, man. And all right, Steve Thomas, man, I want to address this real quickly. First off, thank you. Living in Tulsa, but a proud Oklahoma City Thunder, getting worldwide recognition for our state. Oklahoma is a great place to live and raise a family. Both Mark and I were raised in Oklahoma. We married our wives that were born and raised in Oklahoma as well. We 100% agree with that statement. It's a great place, an amazing opportunity, and it's growing so quickly, the state. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm pretty stoked for that. So Steve, thank you for stopping by. Jay, what's up, man? But I want to go back to, what we're seeing with Josh Giddey is that passion, that desire to do something better. He wants to be better and he looks better. And the thing about it is that when push comes to shove and you're starting to understand what you can do, this is, I mean, they've got to beat Japan on Wednesday. And that is going to be a crazy difficult game. I mean, it might be tomorrow. That's going to be a crazy difficult game. That's not going to be easy. You got a home team right there. So Josh is going to have to come out. But the one thing I want to say about this is that I watched the game, and one thing I loved about the way that Josh did not, um, I don't know, overshoot. But listen, he scored 17 points, and I didn't realize he scored 17 points because I wasn't looking at the box score until the end of the game when Andrew Gaze mentioned it. I mean, that's how good his 17 points was. It was like boom, 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 pew. You know what I'm saying? Like he is so next level. And for me, when I'm looking at this and I'm saying that Josh Giddey has a potential to be one of the better players in the league and one of the best point guards in the league, like I truly believe that because the game is changing in such a way that you don't need to be putting up 25 points a game to be considered the best player in the league or one of the better players in the league. You don't even need to score 20 points a game. But what you need to do is you need to dominate on defense. You need to dominate with passing the ball, and you need to be able to score effectively when you're left open. And if he can do those things, he's going to be considered one of the best point guards in the league, period.
Jay says we're gonna get Australia versus Canada if Australia takes care of Japan tomorrow. So that game starts at 6:10 a.m. my time, 7:10 East Coast time, in
Yes.
Australia, Japan. But then after that, at 8:30 a.m. we have Canada, Latvia, and Latvia is looking good.
So good, dude.
So
Bertans.
I'm pumped. Like this looks like we have a double header back to back, 6:10, 8:30.
Yes,
I
dude.
listen, that's 4 hours plus of being like broadcasting straight.
Yeah, dude.
So I don't know how much of that you can take, bro, but
Man,
I'll try to be here for as much as I can be.
I know I have to drop my kids off at some point around there, so we'll be juggling that in. But I guarantee you, I will be there as much as possible because it's important for me, man. Mike's got some noise going on there.
Holy
Um,
cow.
France is out. I can't believe that, Moani. It's insane to me. Like the fact is that France, I mean, no matter what happens now, they're out of the opportunity to get there. And to me, that's like that should be a massive disappointment for France. Like they should automatically look at this and say, this is not good. You know, like yes, they have a lot of young talent coming, but man, getting bounced after the second game of the tournament.
Well, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but like France is like they had a really tough draw, bro.
Yeah, you're right. I
Like
got it.
who'd they lose to for their second game? Was it Latvia?
Yes.
Like that's my point. Like we're gonna see how good Latvia is coming up, but like I feel like if you're in a situation like France and you've run into two very good teams, yeah, you got to be able to beat Latvia. But like, do you really think that like didn't they lose? Didn't Canada beat France? That was the first big matchup. So like, do you think France was about to beat Canada? It didn't seem like it.
No.
And
Well,
traditionally, that would have been an easy game.
Hmm.
Now it like you're facing an elite Canadian team all of a sudden. And the best part about all of this is like the Olympics are right around the corner, and usually it's 2 years away. So we're really starting to figure out what the hell is going on with this just in time because all of our Australian friends and friends from France and all around the world, they understand like this international game a hell of a lot better than we do. So we're always asking for like guidance. We're like, why is this not happening? Or why what was that call? Or one of the obvious ones was France and Canada. France didn't really call timeouts, and I just kept being like, what's going on? Like this run in the NBA, you'd see 3 timeouts be used, and it's just like there's not that many timeouts.
Yeah.
The game moves at a different pace, the quarters are different. So I really appreciate everybody, helping us figure this out.
Yeah, and obviously it's one of those things where FIBA is like just the taste, you know, it's like just the tip, and I think that's what's so exciting about as we're moving forward here is that uh, seeing these guys play on different teams for their individual countries is amazing. But I cannot wait until they're all in the Oklahoma State Thunder uniforms, playing out there, hustling, doing the things that we know that they can do. I mean, even Bertans, man, he looks so solid right now. First game, he shot 6 for 7 from 3-point range. Like, listen, if we get ready to ball like Bertans can play, and he's shooting 5 for 7 from 3-point range for us in some of these games, man, like, man, it's gonna be huge for us. Like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be huge. And people are like, oh yeah, well, Mike Muscala this, Mike Muscala that. But if you have somebody that can shoot as deadly as Bertans can, it's over, man. Like, it's just over. Like, you can spread the floor. I mean, think about it. If Kaysen can hit someplace around 40, right? You got Jay Will, right? Someplace around 40. You've got Isaiah Joe, right? J Dub, very efficient 3-point shooter. You know, Bertans, you just keep on spreading out. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then you have somebody like Josh Giddey that drives to the lane and he makes 3 or 4 people collapse into that lane, because that's what he does. Look at what he's doing in these competitions at FIBA. Like, he is driving to the lane so fucking hard, people can't stop him. And he's accelerating at the right time and finishing over people's heads. Like, he's not going out there and putting insane amount of points, right? But what he's doing is he's being incredibly effective because when he drives down that lane and he gets the ball, right, and he brings the ball down and then he brings the ball back up, right, people start leaving their feet and people start collapsing. That's when he's able to find everybody else that's all around him. I mean, the corners behind him. I mean, he knows where everybody's man is on, or who they are on, and where they're at all times. And he gets the ball. And whether he's throwing the ball in balance, it doesn't matter, man. Like, he's redefining the game all over again. Remember when we used to do that inbounds play that was called Bison? Like, we scored, what, 70% of that play. It was called Bison. It was from Oklahoma Baptist University up in Shawnee. We got that play from them. And
basically the whole play was
as a box.
You'd set a screen at the free throw line for the strong side player to roll to the weak side, and weak side underneath the basket, if they were playing man to man, was wide open, as long as you got the guy to move up to the high post.
Yep. Because it's spreading it out and it's waiting for the right person, and you have to have the person throwing in the ball. You know, and
look away, and then
boom. Then you know it's there. You're watching the people as they move. And with Josh Giddey, like, he understands, and it's just a half a step. I mean, every single time he throws this ball is in balance, it's half a step, man. And I don't know. I get excited about it because I don't know. When push comes to shove, this team is so elite in so many different aspects. Like, whether we're going to pass the ball and just share the ball around the horn, whether we're going to attack the hole, whether we're going to stay out and shoot 3-pointers, whether we're going to, put big men out there, like big guys. Like, you could go think about our lineup as a big lineup, right? You go Poku, you got Chet, right? You got Jay Will. You've got Bertans. I throw Bertans out there for shooting purposes. I mean, you could go straight up fucking huge and throw Josh Giddey at point guard and just go, boom, the smallest guy is 6'9". And you spread out, man. Like, what are you going to do? Like, oh, you are like, oh, too big of lineup. Let's go small. Cool. Let's go small. What can we do with small? We could do the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter. How do you want to play us? We got to match up. And I think that's what's so crazy is that I don't know another team that's built like this. A lot of teams are built to be able to run their systems the way they want to run their systems, run their defense the way they want to run their defense, run their offense the way they want to run their offense. Teams aren't designed to be able to match up to other teams across the board. But this team is designed to match up against your team across the board. And I think that's what's a beautiful thing that Sam Presti has done. Oh, and George, Beefy. All right, Mr. Beefy, George is referring to the ref, man. And I want to say this, is that the ref that was quite a bit larger than all the rest of the refs, you guys can look him up. He was an American ref. And Josh Giddey challenged one of his calls. And you know what? He had a microphone on. You know what he told Josh Giddey? You don't have to question me. I'm a professional. And as he was dripping down sweat, like to the point where you get kind of concerned that this guy's way too much out of shape, bro.
Hey, the humidity in Manila, but it's gonna.
So thank you, George, for bringing that up. That was great. Hell of a time.
And overall, just getting a chance to watch each one of these players go to their international teams and make an impact in a different way. And then, we've heard, we've heard them talk about that they've improved the way that they use the Thunder players on their teams based on Coach Daigneault's offense. And we know that Coach Daigneault is going to improve the way that these players are utilized within the Thunder offense based on the way that they're using the international offense. Like, we're all learning here. And that's the exciting part, because we really don't know what is going to come next. But I know one thing for sure, bro, is whatever comes next is the best part of it all.
That's right, guys. Wrap it before you tap it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.